So as you can tell, we have two Yoga C630s from Lenovo in the office, and they look pretty much identical, and actually are. From the hardware to the outer parts, they're identical machines, except for two things. One has a 4K display and backlit keys, and those two things are enough to set it apart. Enough so much that even though we don't normally do separate reviews and separate videos for different models of one Chromebook, we're going to here because it makes a difference, and it might make a difference for you and help you make a purchasing decision. But before we get into that, this video is brought to you by NordVPN. They are the VPN of choice for millions of customers. There's a reason. They're great at what they do. If you'd like to learn more about them and how to keep your browsing secure while you're on the web, go to chromeunboxed.com/NordVPN to get started today. So let's talk about those two key differences. We're talking screen and keyboard here, and usually, obviously, we talk about lots more when we talk about reviewing a Chromebook, but we've already reviewed this Chromebook and everything is the same here. So if you're interested, you can go check out the original C630 review. We've left the link in the description, and you can kind of get up to speed with what Lenovo has brought to the table here. But for this particular version of this Chromebook, the screen and keyboard really set it apart and are probably worth a little bit extra money for certain users. So let's start with the screen. So with the screen on the 4K model, you are getting the same 15.6 inch size on the display, and it's still 16:9. It's just instead of being full HD, it's 4K, which if you're not familiar, basically is giving you four 1080p screens worth of resolution in the same screen. So we're talking lots and lots of sharpness here. Everything on the screen just looks fantastic. Think, you know, Pixelbook, Pixel Slate, MacBook Pro, that kind of stuff, where you can get your face right up on the screen and you can't see pixels. The benefit here is because you have so many extra pixels to work with. If you want to back the resolution down just a little bit, everything stays pin sharp. Sure, the text will get a little small on the screen and be kind of hard to read, but if you just need that extra space to maybe throw some extra things on the screen for a few minutes to look around and have more room to navigate, you can do that with this one and not lose any of the sharpness on the screen. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility. But overall, what you're really looking at is the same exact screen in front of you, and when you look at the 1080p version, it looks kind of fuzzy compared to this just absolutely pin sharp 4K display. Additionally, with the 4K display, they've kind of removed the yellowness that was with the 1080p version, so the whites look much more white, and the brightness is really good. Colors pop, viewing angles are great, and so overall, this is just a massive upgrade in the screen, and I really didn't hate the screen on the original 1080p version. It's just everything looks so sharp and so crisp and detailed and colorful, and we actually set it up next to a MacBook Pro, a late model one, a $2,000 machine, and we all kind of agreed the screen actually looks a little bit better than that one. So I would say if you're looking for a better display, if you just want something better, you like the Lenovo C630, you like the size, you just want a better screen and you want a higher resolution screen and everything to look clear, this is a good choice. So the second and maybe less substantial difference here is the addition of a backlit keyboard. The keyframes are the exact same, the keys feel the same, the typing experience is 100% the same, it's just backlit. And on a device this dark, it seemed to help. There were a couple situations actually where I was needing a backlit keyboard, and just being able to look down at this really dark device in a dark room and see those keys glowing up at you, it's kind of a cool effect. It makes the premium feel of this device kind of go up a notch. And from what we understand, the ones that are shipping from Lenovo, whether they be this 4K version or the 1080p version, they all come with backlit keys. It's just the one at Best Buy, which doesn't make any sense to me, that doesn't come with backlit keys, but it's a nice addition to have. And that paired with the 4K display and all the other great things we had to say about this device in the original review, again, linked in the description, makes for a really compelling package. There's just one thing you got to consider though, and that one thing is performance. And we're talking performance from a processor standpoint and performance from a battery life standpoint. So the original review, we were getting easily 9-10 hours of mixed use, no issue whatsoever. With the 4K version, because you're talking about pushing what amounts to 4 versions of the screen on the original one, that's a lot more load on the processor, and it has to push a lot harder to do the exact same things you would do on a 1080p screen. So what that means is battery life is going to decrease. It seemed like it was kind of all over the map for me. There were certain days where I felt like I could probably squeeze 8 or 9 hours out of it, and there were other days where it felt like 6 or 7 was about all I was going to get out of it. My guess is, depending on your activities and things you're doing, the more stuff you do, the more times that screen has to animate stuff on the screen for you, the more drain on your battery. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking at this and going, man, I want that higher res display, I want this device that looks better and has just super crisp text, you're going to take a little knock in the battery life department. That is not to say that it's a 4-hour battery or anything, but you're probably going to get somewhere between like 7 and 9 hours, maybe 6 and 8 hours, instead of the 8 to 10 hours we've been seeing on most Chromebooks. The other performance factor you got to think about is just that literal performance. So this is the exact same Core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage that we had in the 1080p model. And again, with less pixels to push, the 1080p model is going to feel faster and behave faster. That's just kind of the way it is. It's got less stuff to do every time it redraws a frame on the screen. And so you're going to notice a little bit of a performance knock. But honestly, in general, like when I was in browsing windows, when I was actually doing work, when I was scrolling websites, when I was doing that kind of stuff, I didn't really notice any difference whatsoever. Where I did see it, and this just seems to be the case across high resolution Chromebooks right now with the way Chrome is built, when I go to do that overview mode, or if I flip it into tablet mode and start moving between windows and split screens, I'm getting a lot of that jank and that lag and where frames drop, and it just feels slow. It's not that it's actually doing the processes slowly, it's that the animations between things just kind of look janky. And so that is the case here because this is a high resolution Chromebook. It's the highest resolution Chromebook that we've seen so far. More pixels on the screen than the Pixel Slate. And it struggles with this. The Pixelbook struggles with this. It just doesn't seem that the 1080p versions of Chromebooks are struggling with this at all. It's just something with that high resolution that's really causing that animation jank as you're moving between and multitasking between stuff. And so I don't want to say that this thing's going to underperform, but you do need to know that when compared to a similar device with a similar internal layout and structure, that 1080p version is going to perform faster and feel faster and look faster than this 4K version, at least for now. Eventually, once they clean some of this animation stuff up, this may not even be a problem anymore. But for right now, as we're filming this particular video, that is something you need to consider. So let's wrap this thing up and answer the question, should you buy it? For some of you, that answer is yes. At its MSRP, $900, it's really, really hard to say anyone should go jump and get this. But if a 4K 15.6 inch display is really important to you, well, it's kind of the only player in the game. So you definitely should go grab one. I don't think you'll be disappointed even if you spend that top dollar on it if you're buying it for what it delivers, which is great internals, a great overall feel, just high quality build, fantastic display, like all of those things. If all those things are important and that's the most important thing to you, then yeah, I think this is a good device and I don't think you're going to be disappointed with it. If they drop it again, as they have just recently, down to $700, then it becomes way easier to say a broad group of people should probably go get this thing if you're into a larger Chromebook. If you're wanting something that's super little and portable, no, this probably isn't the device for you. But if you're watching this video, I would say you're probably interested in having a display with a bigger screen. And if the screen's important to you, resolution's important to you, and the thing that you're looking at all the time when you use the device is important to you, this one kind of knocks it out of the park and is a great device, especially at $700, $800. At $900, that choice goes back to you. But guys, that's it for this one. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. And oh, don't forget, we also have that new join button down there. And if you're interested in learning more about that, just click it. You'll see all the stuff that gets offered for our members. It's $5 a month. You get exclusive kind of behind the scenes and some extra content that we don't normally put on the channel. And so we've got quite a few that have signed up already and would love to see you there. But until next time, we'll see you.